This is our original, right? There's a mix of white and gray in the edge. So I just take those edge pixels and I push them out. You see, I'm just taking those outward. Hi, my name is Chadwick. I'm a DaVinci Resolve Master Trainer based here in New York. And today I'm going to teach you advanced ways to use the Patch Replacer tool in the Fusion page of DaVinci Resolve Studio 20. Now, what's unique about this tutorial is I'm going to show you how you can remove a wire that's attached to a foreground element that you want to keep, and you want to have the perfect edges. Let's take a look. If you've never used the Patch Replacer tool before, we're going to start easy. We're going to remove the logo as one patch, and then we'll come over here and remove the wire next. So Patch Replacer tool, Shift Space, PATCH, that'll pull it up into our flow. It's basically a copy and paste button is what it is. The defaults are region shape, ellipse, and rectangle. We'll use the ellipse for the Apple logo, and then we'll get to the alpha channel functionality next, which is where the real power comes in. But essentially, we just take where we want to copy from, that's the left side, where we want to paste to, and you can just use these on-screen controls to sort of size it up. And then once you take a look at the result of it, in the viewer, say hide, boom, we're done. Let's go home. No, just kidding. The idea when we do patch cleanup is we want to isolate them. We want to mask them out so that we can maintain as much integrity in the original plate as possible. So the way I need to actually isolate this patch is to mask it off before I merge this back over the original. So the way I'll do that, just grabbing a B-spline from the toolbar up here. I need to actually load the gamut. That turned us into linear over here so that I can click around the logo to cut it out. I purposely chose a shot that does not require tracking today so we can move quickly. But the same principles apply to a tracking moving shot. You just have to apply the tracking data. Now, because we're not tracking, I'm going to disable the shape animation because we don't need to change the shape. And I want to add softness. The way I do that is I hit this D with the two lines. That's a make double polyline. I lasso select all the points. I hold O because the outer point, the outer line is already selected, and I drag, and that adds a little bit of softness. See what that looks like? So to actually apply this mask to the Patch Replacer output, you take the output of the mask, stick that in the blue Patch Replacer input, and then you come over to the inspector settings and say multiply by mask, and you've cut it out. Now I want to use this as my first patch. This would just go over the top of the original image, which is the gamut tool. I take the output of Patch Replacer, stick this to the output, so it's kissing two outputs of what you want behind it. So that's the background, and there we go. We've got that isolated. I'm going to hold Option or Alt to sort of do a little organization. Got other stuff down here. We'll deal with that when we get there. Now let's take a look at using the alpha channel mode of the Patch Replacer next. In order to use the alpha channel of the Patch Replacer, we need to copy an alpha channel into the original stream first. And one of the ways to do that, to create the mask to make an alpha channel and copy it in, is to grab something like a polygon tool. So let's grab a polygon Roto shape from up there. And while looking at the image, I'm just going to click points that are nice and close around the wire I want to remove. So include the shadow. That would be a good thing because it's kind of part of it as well. Shift O closes it. I'm going to disable the keyframe. And now to apply or copy this alpha into the image, we're going to grab a matte control node. That's going to allow us to grab another copy of the source. So here's what we got going on so far. So gamut 1 is our main source. And I'm going to take this polygon, stick this into the green input of matte control. Loading that into the viewer. It's not set to do anything when you start, but I'm going to combine the alpha with the combine operation set to copy. So I've copied the alpha into the image. The other thing that might be worth doing is softening this out, just like I did before with the other B-spline. I will select the polygon tool, hit the D for double polyline, select all the points, hold O, and drag outward, and you can see I've added softness to that. This is what you should see. You should see this weird checkerboardy thing. It means it's an unpre-multiplied image. And this means the RGB values are still there. That means that the Patch Replacer can work. So next up, we'll do the Patch Replacer. I'm going to make organization here, a little organize as we go, Option to drag that on down. And so this Patch Replacer will be PATCH. Let's add that there. This one's going to be set up to work on that alpha channel. So region shape this time is alpha. And the difference you'll see here is we got these little asterisk stars in here instead of those shapes. Same principle though. Where's it coming from? Where's it going to? Well, where's it going to is the area that we just want to remove, that wire area. Where's it coming from? Well, probably an area nearby. Now, we can't really see this super great to line up the texture of the grain. So we're going to complete this, complete the comp of it, and then we'll come back to fine tune it and take care of this edge where the overlap is. So after we've applied our patch replacer tool, we can multiply or pre-multiply the alpha channel so that it can be merged. So shift space, AML is the alpha multiply tool, which basically says we can now actually do multiplication on the alpha channel to cut those away. And then we can merge this over our main background stream over there. So that's what we got. You can see the grain texture does not line up. So all I need to do is take my patch replacer tool. We've got these little widgets here, get this stuff lined up. And this will work really nicely on you know, stabilized footage. If you don't have like a image on a tripod that I use, you know, to get things moving fast today, that's how I would typically use it in those scenarios. So just get it to where, you know, most of the work is done for us. There's an exception though. Look at the edge here. This is where you get paid the big bucks. How do we take care of this edge? Well, the idea is if the image is moving, which this isn't, but just pretend it is, we think of patches in planes. What's furthest from camera to what's closest to camera. So this table is further away from me than this laptop screen. So I'm going to make a patch that overextends this because the background will move slower than the foreground because of parallax if the camera's moving. So I'm going to overextend this first, and then I'm going to restore the laptop edge and another layer on top. But to finish overextending this cleanup here, I'll just use the paint tool, just a simple clone. So after this alpha multiply, I will come up here to the toolbar, click the paint tool, and I need to clone. But if you load this, I don't have a lot to clone from here. But the great thing about the cloning in the paint tool is you can clone from any other node that's like upstream of it, which is really, really cool. So the way that works is I'll select the paint tool, choose the third icon over here. This is stroke. It means it'll work on all frames. And then I'm coming to apply mode, choose clone. And then this source tool is where the trick to this is. The source tool well here lets me choose another node in the flow to clone from. So if I drag the gamut tool and then release, it says, okay, you can do cloning from that node, even though it's happening down here. Now, the thing is I can't see anything, so I need to load my merge to output result into the viewer. And now that I can load that into the viewer, I had loaded it into my deck link output. So there we go, it's in the viewer. I click back on the paint node, I option click where I want to sample from, and then I can just start brushing in. And I want to overextend, right? Because this is like in a plane that's background moving at a different rate than the foreground beyond that edge, and then we will come back and restore it. There's no worries there. So option clicking there, and you got to be careful. I reintroduced some of that original wire, it looks like there. So let's choose here instead, a little further away. And we'll call it good. Not perfect by any means, but the idea is we overextend what we want to end up restoring right after. And the nice thing about all this, if I load the paint node into the viewer, we have the alpha channel, so we're not, you know, changing everything more than we need to. So now let's take a look at restoring the edge and potentially extending the edge so we get the perfect colors. To extend the edge of the foreground, what we want to do is let's take a look at the foreground first and make a cutout, like a roto shape to do that. So I'm going to grab a polygon tool from the nodes up here, and this is whatever's closest to the camera, right? We're going to stick this original pixels back over the top. And just like before, we used a matte control and an alpha multiply. We'll use that as well, so we're consistent with how we're building this. Matte control from up here. This is going to get the original image. This stream over here is just going straight off of gamut 1, okay? And then this polygon's going into the green foreground of it. We're going to say combine alpha, and the operation is copy. Again, it's unpre-multiplied, so what do we need to do? We need to multiply it. You could actually do this in the node too, post-multiply image, but just so we show our work as we go, we'll do AML, alpha multiply. There's a little patch. We stick this back over the top of everything with another merge. And we're getting somewhere. Now, two things. One, it's not big enough, and two, the edge is really hard. So let's fix that. Selecting the polygon tool again. Be careful about the animation. See, there was already a keyframe. So I went back to where that original keyframe was. I disabled this. so that I don't animate this over time when I don't intend to. I'm going to take these points down here, lasso select them, hold Alt or Option, and then I can just pull this back down. And then we need to add softness to this. And you'll notice there's a little white speck there that we're going to deal with because we want to be perfect. To fix the softness, I will select the mask. Rather than doing double poly this time, I'll show you soft edge just so we can have another option. And one thing that always gets in the way is these lines of the mask. So if you turn them off, you can go to a 3-dot option menu, say show controls, and that disables those. So now we can really see what we're restoring. And as we do that, the restore is good, but we have this little white speck. So the way we deal with this is we actually paint the source image RGB pixels before it hits this mask. Essentially what we're doing is we're extending the edges of the foreground so that they will match with this new background. So if you take a look here, this is our original, right? There's a mix of white and gray in the edge. I want this all to be gray. So what do? I come over here, and before this mask hits, I come to the paint tool, and we'll use stroke, and this time we'll use smear. So it's like a blurring. It basically takes that current edge and just pushes it out, kind of like a blur. I'm going to disable the alpha channel, turn the strength up. I'm just going to hopefully start painting, but here's a gotcha that will get you, and it just got me, is that I had turned under the 3-dot options menu, the show controls off. Make sure you turn that back on every time, otherwise you lose your little circle for your paintbrush. I'm using Command or Control to size the brush. And all I'm going to do with it, set to stroke, smear, full blast, RGB, is I just take those edge pixels and I push them out. You see, I'm just taking those outward. And if you do this on a stabilized version of a plate, obviously that will work really, really nicely. I have a tutorial that talks about using Magic Mask, using the Clean Plate tool to extend edges. That's another way to do that. But here's the beauty of this. I've extended this out, but I only needed it a certain amount. This next node here has the cutout for our mask. This one multiplies it. And now if you take a look at our final merge down here, we've gotten rid of that white speck by this paint and where that's situated. So we get the exact right color in there. This is really helpful if you do screen replacements where there's a thumb or some finger that you need to get those perfect colors with the new screen insert. This is the way you do it. Now, I want to warn you, one thing I've done here is I've essentially taken what was really one patch and turned it into 2 patches, right? So there's this patch here, which is the background, and then there was this patch that restored here. You really want to combine this restoring roto before you put them into the mainstream. And the way you do that was with the merge node set to Atop. So Atop is going to say, hey, look at this alpha channel from the thing that's behind the background and use that for the foreground. So let's take this merge node. I will shift, drag it out of the main pipe, and we'll combine the cleanup with the roto before it goes into the mainstream. So I'll take this paint node and I'll take the output of our restore roto, and just normal merge looks like this, which that restore is bigger than it needs to be, but you change operator over here to Atop. Now it's only the size of what you cleaned up behind it. Now this can go over the top of the rest of the image as your normal patch cleanup, and that can go to your gamut, which is adding the gamma, so that when you go back out to the edit page, you look full screen, you turn it on and off. It's completely gone, and the edges are super, super perfect. Hey, my name is Chadwick. This is Creative Video Tips. I appreciate you so much, and because there's so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video.